Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to our virtual workshop on spatial data analysis and mapping with Supermap Software Corporation Limited, China, in collaboration with the Faculty of Geomatics, Sabarakamu University of Sri Lanka. To welcome the gathering, I cordially invite Mr. P.G.V Abeyrathna, Dean, Faculty of Geomatics.
Good afternoon to you all. Colleagues from Sabarakamu University and delegates from Supermap GIS China and all participants. So first of all, let me thank the organizing committee of this pre-conference workshop for inviting me for just to add some words at this inauguration workshop. So I'm not a person from GIS expertise as a surveyor. Naturally, I'm having a kind of idea about what is going on geospatial sciences and surveying. To add some words at this historical occasion. So let me to start my couple of words from the saying by history President TechnologyDriven. So he says the geospatial industry is quickly evolving because the capabilities of digital connectedness and collaboration are moving rate exponentially. So the giant in the industry having that idea that this technology being evolved at alarming rate. So this very dynamic field, which is at the moment probably the entire world is having the most demand on this spatial information and data. So we have experienced for last 3-4 decades the term GIS. The GIS is being used at the moment for spatial planning, maybe decision making, and of course for resource management. The challenges at the moment maybe we are talking about the uncertainty of data and the data management because of with huge volume of data. So it's another critical problem to be addressed. And of course, let me add some ethical use of GIS as well. The privacy, maybe the locations and all. So all these are to be addressed. As long as this GIS is concerned, of course, we can find out two applications, two maybe approaches. One is maybe FOSS, free and open source software products, and the other one, of course, with comprehensive proprietary GIS software solutions. In most of small scale businesses, of course, most people would like to use free and open source software solutions, but probably large scale users probably will go for some other solutions. So in future, probably we will have to talk about maybe cloud technology, almost with real-time data applications. 3D GIS, the new concept, and of course very popular mobile GSM, the data capturing for users and all. So everything is now connected. Everything is now going with the Internet of Things. That's data platform, sensors, repositories, and the real-time data. The GIS applications at the moment is somewhat, let's say, we are in a very advanced level. But from my understanding, the next step would be, probably would be with augmented reality and maybe virtual reality with real-time data. Just to give some idea to users, very impressive idea to users from this work. Of course, we could see now that people are talking about three-dimensional GIS, 3D GIS, 3D gas data. And of course, they are planning to, especially planning to go with some indoor mapping. So this is another aspect of this one. So the next generation would be like that. So with very sophisticated, very big buildings, perhaps people would need to find out their information by using this augmented and virtual reality platforms, almost with real-time data. So indoor mapping may be having next generation, might be going with next generation, especially for maybe for underground constructions. And as I told you earlier, with big sophisticated buildings and all. Of course, you know, another application probably would come with the analysis of big data. So big data can be found from maybe from social media to some other applications, maybe communications. It's going to be very complex kind of data structures might be available with that. And of course, research probably would be going ahead this direction just to get some information by analyzing from the tendency of it even. So since you know this communication information are tagged with location information, then it's almost possible to incorporate into GIS platforms. So, okay, now what is going to be the future of this powerful technique? Actually saying now, as far as the surveying is concerned, it is sometimes called, as you know, it's a dying profession, but actually it would not be like that. But maybe let me tell you something which I experienced maybe somewhere around 30 decades back. So almost the components of surveying applications, let's say, could be survived with individual applications. For example, surveying has its own role. Maybe geodesy has the same. And of course, other things. Photogrammetry plays its own role there. But when it comes to information technology era, so everything is going to be integrated in order to give in order to make some platforms for this information systems. So then, of course, most of such
recording in progress.
Such individual applications cannot survive further. From maybe, you know, with what I can add here is maybe the introducing of GPS or GNSS technology. So it revolutionized the field of surveying. So from hilltops to almost, you know, to the ground level, and no need of big geodetic equations in order to calculate, to determine the positions. So this is what is happening. So this is, from my point of view, the simplification. So earlier, maybe 2 decades or 3 decades back, GNSS was very scientific and very luxurious kind of application. Now, of course, you know, it is embedded with your mobile phone. So this is how everywhere the world is going to be simplified. In future, my idea is nobody wants to use very comprehensive GIS software products. But as users, as developers, as scientists and professionals, you will have to simplify this environment, maybe by introducing GUIs and some other customization on GIS platforms. Hope that around the world, everybody seeks to utilize the geospatial data, and we can expect to be changing the way organizations utilize these technologies while being transformed one era to the next era through the technical advancement. Finally, would make easier to users with all simplification. So participants, be ready to simplify the world. Good luck for your workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is time to Ms. Nusrat Supermap Asia and Oceania Center. She is specialized in GIS as well as geography and environmental science. She has represented Supermap in several South Asian countries, mainly Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Bhutan. She has gathered some extensive insights in electric GIS implications from all over the world, committed herself to keep representing Supermap as this. According to her, is the future of GIS world. Dear madam, it's over to you.
I'm really sorry for the technical issues that we're facing right now. Thank you for giving me the floor to talk, and hello everyone, and good afternoon and a very good day to you all. I would like to express my heartiest gratitude to all of you for making your time to attend this wonderful program. And I would also like to thank Faculty of Geomatics, Savargama University of Sri Lanka, for co-arranging this very organized program with Supermap. So I'm Mr. Zahan Ziv representing Supermap Asia and Oceania Center, and I'm very much delighted to welcome you all here to this specific and special training program on spatial data analysis and mapping with Supermap, which has been specially designed for the GIS enthusiasts. So I'd like to start my speech with the greatest enthusiasm and inspiration that I have gotten from all of you for the past couple of days. So yes, I was in the charge of registration and documentation for this event, and I was really surprised to see the amount of responses that I have gotten from you people, and it's really astonishing and splendid at the very same time. This shows me that we have a future where GIS will not only be a tool or technique, it will be an integrated system with all the possible solutions for every spheres of our life. So I'd like to jumpstart to talk about the training program for a bit. So as you all have gotten the documents and the schedule, that this is a 4 days long training program, which will be covering the basic of GIS and also its multifaceted applications along with the latest progress of the GIS technology. And this specific training will include the spatial data processing, 2D and 3D mapping and scene analysis, spatial analysis, and also a network analysis using the Supermap GIS software. And it specially aims to provide the different basic level trainings and demonstrations to ameliorate the practitioner's GIS skill in practical operation and application in GIS in different kinds of sectors like the smart city, urban planning, real estate management, and so on. So to me, this training program is a gateway for you all present here to get introduced to the newest and the most advanced technological aspects of Supermap GIS platform. And we all are really hopeful that with proper and active participation in this training, you will be able to get a very good comprehensive understanding of the basics and very good wide range of applications of the GIS in different scenarios. And it will hopefully further aid you in the formulating your own ideas and innovations after being introduced to the Supermap GIS software and the solution. So with the systematic conduction of this training program, the SuperMap team wholeheartedly believes that we would be able to provide you with the technical knowledge and software for now and also in your future projects and endeavors related to the GIS. And thereby, we anticipate your kind operation and active participation in the program. And in this virtual conference room, I would like to recognize and thank you all, the GIS enthusiasts and urban planners, as well as the faculties and other GIS practitioners, technologists, and innovators for joining us today. And with your interest and kind enthusiasm in technology and innovation, we surely can create some sustainable solutions that will transform this whole world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can say through your participation in this training that we are in the really good right place and in the right time. And together, I think we can accelerate the exchange of the ideas. And I'm very much confident that you will find new ideas with the applications as well. So welcome once again, and let us all learn from this very fruitful training program and get the most out of it. So the technical manager of SuperMap Asia and Oceania Center, Jason, started his presentation before me. He somehow got cut out for Can you hear me? I'm requesting the host to give the permission to Jason so that he can start his presentation and the speech. And I'm kindly requesting you all to keep patience until we fix this technical issue. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Professor TTLdhammalaki from Department of Remote Sensing and GIS, Faculty of Geomatics, to share his valuable knowledge about GIS in a technology-driven in a smart future. Let me introduce Professor Dhammalaki. Professor TTLdhammalaki has completed his first degree from Sabaragama University and engaged in his master's at School of Engineering and Technology at Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand. And he has completed his Doctor of Engineering on Remote Sensing and Geographic Information System at School of Engineering and Technology at Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand. His research interests are directed to GPS, GNSS application and data processing, remote sensing and application and data processing, geographic information system applications, and surveying and mapping. Sir, this honorable invitation for you to address the gathering.
All right. Hope you all can hear me clearly. And let me share my screen as well. Hope everything is fine and perfect. And for me to start, did I get any response from someone? Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon for all of you back in Sri Lanka, and I'm very happy, and it's my great pleasure to be in this workshop and deliver some of my thoughts with my students, beloved students, because I was away for almost now 2 years from the university, and I'm very happy to be in this conference and share some of my views and thoughts on this GIS technologies. So fortunately, I mean, I got this opportunity because the Dean Faculty of Geomatics, Diplasa, he invited me, and Dr. Sankar was very happy to invite me as well. So I grabbed this opportunity actually to deliver some ideas with my students. And I know that there could be many other participants also from some other institutes and from some other countries as well. So, but anyway, so my talk today is on GIS in the technology-driven smart future. So I will start a bit of idea about. I try to put this GIS in a different way of thinking. So how about starting let me go for the next slide. GIS presentation with a little bit of biology. So when we think about human body is a beautiful kind of a system where you can you can't imagine how complex this system is, and it has multiple systems integrated together and functioning as a individual one whole system, but each system do have a separate functionality, but they're not independently working, but they're all connected together. You can understand how the how complex and how smart this system, how creative it is. And when you start to think about it, it's very complicated and it's very difficult to understand. And so you need lots of, in case if you want to understand this this kind of organism, so you have to have lots of measurements, lots of understanding, lots of visualizations, lots of processing, and many different type of understanding is required to get a good idea. And when you think about these systems there, all these systems are very smart. I shouldn't say just smart. I have to say they're super smart. How smart are they is we can't think and we can't imagine how smart the organisms are within our body. And also they all interconnected. They're working together and they're very smart communicating each other, and they're acting in a very fascinated way that we don't know how these things are happening. So it's magical. Now, how about the world? If you think about it, the earth, the Greek term used for earth is geo. So sometimes we use geo and the earth, and all these two different terms refers to the same things, same thing. And what do you think about the earth or the geo? So is it a living organism? A kind of, you can say it's a kind of a living organism which has lots of similarities to the human body, if you think of, because humans are within the earth. So it's a part of the system. So the entire system is a huge, complex, interconnected, changing, and very dynamic. Lots of systems are integrated together. So it's very complicated phenomena. So all these things, when you look at something that we can easily realize is our body, because we are living on it. And if you sit back and realize, okay, when I look at something, how I understand it as this, because there are plenty of systems work together and giving you some kind of information. Okay, this is this. So when you look at the earth as well, so all your sensors, your processors, your nervous system, and everything works together and doing complicated analysis and giving you a result, a prediction, right? So that is how your body works. But when you put that same concept into a very big picture like the earth and geo, so it also the same way all the systems are integrated together. So if you put these things into one single arrangement, or a classification, all these Earth systems. So we can put them into three groups very broadly. One is the human and the society. So where we have all this different human interactions and the artificial things and what we are doing modification to the Earth and all these different things. So they do have their own interaction. Environment and all this different stuff. Beauty is all these systems are again systems. They're very complex and they're very highly interrelated to each other. So because of that, it's very difficult to understand all this different stuff in a very single way. Now, what is the challenge? So the greatest challenge is to understand these Earth systems, to do certain kind of like, because as human beings, we are living on this Earth and we are living with all these systems. So it's very important to understand how these systems are working for our survival, to use it in a better way. So for all these different things, like for a simple example, for a simple understanding with your human body, say for instance, there are some people who can lift heavy weights. So they train their muscles, their everything for a certain period of time, and they can lift certain amount of weight that we can't imagine. How they have done that? Because they have identified, they have understand, they have analyzed, and they have predicted this is what I can do with my muscles. So that is the understanding of a certain amount of systems. Like in the similar way, if we can understand the Earth system, so we can live in a good and a very pleasant environment where we can't, where we don't do much problems. The simplest thing to understand this challenging and very complicated and the complex system is we need to have models to represent can at least, what we can expect at least is to have a better representation where you can rely on with your predictions, your models, your analysis, and all this different stuff. And in these models, that they integrate the Earth component features and their interactions and all this different stuff together. And in order to develop these models, we need a kind of like a measurement, observation, locating, analysis, and representation, monitor, predict, and all these different quantification type of measurements we have to do to have a better, to come up with better models to represent these complicated Earth systems. Now, so how we can do all these things, how we can come up with these models, and how we can do all this locationing, measurement, and analysis, and all this different stuff, how we can do, we have to come up with science of where. So this is what we have to think of. Now, again, I will go back to the human body. Now, if you have any problem on your body, if you go and meet doctor and your doctor, and when you go and say there's something hurt in my body, and what is the first question that he might ask? Where it's hurting, where's your pain is, where you get bit of hurt. So location, where. So with that location information, he can realize certain things. Okay, if you have this kind of a pain in this location, this might be the problem. So that is kind of like understanding. So the location is very important. If you don't say somewhere is hurting, So how that person can understand what's happening in this body? So he cannot predict. So you have to scan and do certain things, and you have to again locate where the problem is. So if you want better models, we have to use the science of where. So that is the whole thing. Now, what is the science of where? That is the science of where. Science of where is the thing that we broadly call as GIS. I'm not referring GIS as geospatial because um, early days when we talk about GIS, people refer it as a tool. It's a tool to do something, but now it's not anymore a tool. It's kind of like whole science where you can where it's evolved for a greater level now. So where we can we generally refer it as the science of where. So that allows us to measure, analyze, represent all these Earth features, systems, phenomena, and their interactions, and all these different things. Now, say for instance, you take a simple example, uh, this simple uh, uh, carbon dioxide cycle. So take it as a simple Earth system process. So if you want to understand this, you need lots of locational information to understand this process in a greater level. So this process could be in many different scales. So many different, I mean, micro and macro and many different scales, the process is expanding. So if you want to understand this, you need to have, for example, the carbon cycle. You need to identify loads of different spatial information if you want to better model this one, to better understand this. I'm not just saying model, I'm saying the better models. If you want to go for better models, you have to understand lots of different interrelated features, interrelated phenomena, many different things interrelated for this changes, what is happening here, and how this cycle is evolving. So for that, we need to make, we need to have geospatial technologies to make this initial measurements. We need the tools, we need the equipment, we need the facilities to measure and observe or certain amount of phenomena which are interrelated for this simple Earth system when we want to understand that one. So that will result as the spatial data or geodata or Earth data or the attributes or all this different locational based information data. And in addition to that, we need to have algorithms, we need to have models, we need to have functions to analyze this spatial data and come up with spatial models. So the models will give you some kind of predictions, analysis, all this different stuff to see how the things are interrelated, what will happen if this change, what will happen if this happen. So all this different analysis, so algorithms are very important to understand that. And on top of all, once you do all these things, then you need to have some kind of a methods to represent, visualize these Earth phenomena, Earth processes. So one way of representing these things are using maps. Now we're talking about that. We are enough talking about 2D maps, and we are now talking about 3D maps, 3D based analysis, because the world is not a 3D kind of a representation, because it's not a better model of representation. 2D is not a better model of representation. 3D is is a better model. Is not the best model, but it's a better model of representation. But still, we need to have a development. We need to improve the representation of Earth phenomena beyond 3D, 4D, or different other dimensions as well integrated together, and then we can reach up to the level of the best representation. And all this different the science, this geoinformation science, we can use in wide range of applications, in many applications. So whatever the application is, these three components: tools, algorithms, methods of representation. All these three things are there with the GI science. Now, so up to now in GIS, so these are the key things that we are discussing and we are talking about and we are developing and we are focusing on. Now, my talk is basically towards the future. So I thought it's like this. So GIS science in the technology-driven smart future. So this is what we can expect. Presently, some things are existing and at a certain amount of a level, and in the future we might end in a very high level of using all these different technologies. What I'm expecting in the technology-driven smart future, where we have lots of very smart technologies, supercomputing, cloud-based processing, and super storages, big data. And we are talking about smart devices where you can do lots of different things. Now, as the Dean in his talk, he said that the smartphones are now coming up with very high advanced GNSS devices and lots of integrated sensors together to a smartphone where you can do lots of magics. And there are some senses that still they're not best utilizing. Now, if I tell you in for example, iPhone Pro, the latest version, it has a LiDAR sensor in the mobile phone, but the apps are not developed yet to best utilize that sensor within the mobile phone. So in the future, people will start using this because in that phone you can do the measurements. When you just put the LiDAR sensor, you can measure the depth. So that's the beauty. So that measurements integrate that sensor, and you can come up with smart type of decision making, smart type of data collection, where you can come up with lots of features. And in the so that is one example. So the technology is there now. What we have to think of is how we going to utilize this technology for the smart future of GIS science, where we are all dealing and discussing. Now, what I'm expecting is in the future we will get advanced tools, not the general tools that we are talking about, much advanced, much sophisticated, and where you can do lots of measurements. In my time when I'm doing my PhDs way back in 2007-8, so that time we were it's a kind of like a big job if you can collect some data in the field and send that one real time to a server and map it in real time. It's a big deal. If you can do that, you definitely get a PhD. But now it's very simple. It's a simple app where you install into your mobile and you have servers there and you send your data. Thousands of data collectors can connect at one time and can feed data to a server and real-time mapping, and finally the product will come up. Simple. Now the things are there. Now, so that's how the things are happening, because the facilities are coming up and you have lots of advanced tools. And as I said, the mobile phones are coming up with the LiDAR sensors where you never expected. Having a smart, a very advanced GNSS in a mobile phone is a simple thing. That was in 5 years, 6 years back. People talk about, hey, you're gonna get a dual frequency receiver in your mobile phone. Shocked. Now it's not. Now you're talking about, hey, you're gonna get a LiDAR sensor in your mobile phone. Ah, really? So that's a big thing. So I got shocked actually when iPhone 12 Pro is released. It says it has a LiDAR sensor in it. Oh my goodness, you can do magic. So that's what the future is. You will get lots of advanced technologies and to collect spatial data and the attributes data. You get lots of advanced tools and sophisticated models. What I mean by sophisticated means you have lots of parameters in together, means you are integrating lots of systems together to come up with a better understanding of one system. Like there. We're talking about supercomputers where you have lots of power to process in one time, lots of servers connecting together, cloud computing, where you have plenty of servers together and you have very fast internet connections, and you can do processing, and you can come up with kind of beautiful decisions. And very sophisticated models you can do, define plenty of parameters together, not simple one or two parameters and a very simple model, but integrated a lot. And with those kind of models or the algorithms, you can predict, you can model these very complicated systems to the better level that I'm talking about. Not the best level, but at least to the better level at this stage. And smart methods of visualizations, like we're not anymore very convenient with the printed maps, or we are not nowadays, we're not convenient with the laptops, monitors, PCs. We want the things in our palm. We need things in our smartphones, because in a PDS tabs or a very mobile type of a small devices, we need all these things. So smart type of visualizations are required to put a complicated visualization into a simple environment. So we need lots of developments towards this. So if there are students who are listening to this, so these are the avenues that you can think to develop your future in GIS. What we have discussed in the previous slide. So this is the general way of thinking GIS. So the very fundamental and the stuff that we can already have. But in the future, if you can think about these things, where you come up with lots of technologies. Now, the good example is if any student can think about using the LiDAR sense of the mobile phone for some kind of surveying or mapping or kind of like data collection. Very good, very advanced. And this is what you can think of. If someone can think of developing an algorithm where you get some data from this server, some data from that server, another set of data from another server, and integrated them together with in a customized way. You get some remote sensing data, you get some GIS data, you get some GPS collected data or field serving data, combine them together and come up with some kind of a decision. So those are the sophisticated and brilliant models that you can think of in the future. So I'm not saying these are impossible, because the same experience that I told you when I'm doing early day studies in 2008, 9, 10, collecting some data in the field and sending it to a server and putting it in a map is a magical thing. And if you can do that, definitely your PhD is there. But now it's nothing. So what I'm talking now, maybe in years to come, it's gonna be a simple task. People are gonna use all these different technologies in GIS science as well. Now, so these are the technologies that we might end up with. We are talking about the drones and the drone-based laser scanning and all these different things, mobile mapping systems. They're 10 years and several years back. So it's still there at the level of integration, where you can get lots of information added there. And the future geospatial technologies enable something that I want to share with you is that enables to see what you can't see right now about your systems. So when I talk about your human body, before the MRI scanner comes in, you can't see certain things within your body, what's happening. Now, what I'm talking here is with the technology, GIS science will see things what you can't see now, what you can't imagine now. So this is what you have to think, what I'm going to see with the sensors. So this is what you have to train with your knowledge and the training and the technology. So that allows us to see certain different things where you can't imagine right now. So these things will definitely improve your thinking, your model, your estimation, your predictions. And also they enable us to go for very accurate, very precise, very reliable analysis. So, and also the predictions are very important based on the geospatial technology. So this is where we we rely on this is what will happen in next 5 years. This is what will happen in next year. So this is how the things are in future. So all these models, if you can go for better models, you can go for better prediction. So that is what the scenario is. All these advanced technologies will give you all these facilities to come up with. And also this is the other thing, smart sensing, smart sharing. So this is very, very important aspect. Now, we have data collected at this location, and this center, that center. Everywhere we have data. But we are talking about sharing data, but that is not sufficient now. In the future, that is not sufficient. Sharing is not sufficient. We have to have smart sharing. You can't do transformation, you can't do processing, you can do different things. When you have these things real time, there should be smart sharing platforms. So this is where we have to come up with the real-time decision making in the field. So in the field, if you want to make a decision based on meteorological data, based on the road survey data, traffic data, and all these different things, you don't have time to transform from this datum to that datum, this data platform to that data platform. You don't have time for that. You have to use them real-time process, decision making, analysis. All these things have to be very smart type of sharing. So this is what you have to think about: how we share data in a smart way. This is not I'm saying, okay, I'll keep the precious data with me and I'll give you something locality with you. So that is not smart. So that's not I'm talking about. It's a different scenario. And sorry, and there could be many more that we can think about in this technology will enable. So if you sit and think, so you can think about lots of different things. Now, with this thought, so I would like to share you a few things with the time constraint that I have. So the technologies that we are talking present and will be heavily talk in the future. So one of these technologies is heavily based with geospatial sciences, location-based services. The concept developed many years back and still is under developing and it's evolving, and it's coming up with the certain developments. Location-based services is you're getting locational where type of information, and you get lots of services, and you get navigation, pedestrian, indoor, as you didn't mention, indoor mobility, and multi-sensor localization, where you get now, say for example, I will give you you can't only rely on in LBS GNSS as the positioning sensor. It's impossible. You can do that in open sky, in an open place, but LBS is not only for an open place where you get the GNSS signal, but you should have the facility to work in indoor or underground tunnels, or where when you're in a covered area. So this should allow the systems to get connected with lots of sensors. So multi-sensor localization. So that is one of the very important thing, where you get at as well the Wi-Fi sensors. Wi-Fi sensors also a kind of like signals will also be a kind of like positioning, locating signal when you want to get indoor localization, all these different aspects. And the information or the spatial data sharing in real time. So where you need to have AI for those things, where AI-based analysis, you have to think about which data, which component that I have to take from this server, that server, and this cloud, so this portal. So you have to think about the smart type of analysis. You have to build up all these things. So that will be the one of the other things. And personal tracking. So this is one of the important aspect of LBS as well. So you can get the sensors and you can identify the location. So it's not only rely on GNSS, but many different multiple sensors as well. So this is the personal tracking is one of the key aspect in the present scenario, in the COVID scenario, where you can identify where the people are and you can map them, you can identify their mobility and all this different stuff. So it's easy. And geomarketing and all this different stuff. When you go and see the LBS, there are lots of different applications where you can think in the future. And one step ahead of LBS is now we're talking about the augmented reality, where heavy amount of digital geospatial data information is connected in real-time environment. So where you get lots of functions to work together, where you get lots of information functioning together. And GIS science is essential technology and a component of augmented reality, indoor and outdoor, and all this environment. So it's kind of an emerging technology where we can think where the geospatial technology is heavily reliant, where you get in the 3D environments, you get lots of information. It's just like the LBS, but the advanced level of LBS. And that requires great accuracy for the positioning and visualization and all this different aspect of geoinformation technology. We need lots of accuracy, precision, reliability, all this different stuff. The expected future. For long also we are talking about IoT, Internet of Things, and it's gonna evolve very soon, and people gonna use these things faster, because now we have devices which are get interconnected, so they talk each other and they do some sharing data. So there are certain things coming up. So that's for the local level of connectivity. So Internet of Things, we can think about the greater level, different scales, city level, country level, global level. So the level of connectivity, the scale of connectivity is broader at certain level. So the infrastructure or the backbone of Internet of Things is again spatial content. Spatial infrastructure is very important to have a better IoT. Without, I mean, you can talk about lots of IoT platforms like transportation, utilities, smart cities, and all these different things. Because when the things are going down, draining down in your fridge, so that will send a message, an online order, and you will get the deliver automatically to your doorstep, and your bank account will deduct automatically. So you have to have money in your bank account if you want to have this type of environment. Anyway, so that's a simple example for a IoT. So that all these things are linked. Now, if the fridge gonna order, send the order, so he has to if that is smart, he should not send for any shop. He has to identify which shop has all these things in a discount price, or where the closest one, where it has the delivery, and where you can get the real-time delivery for your location when it's required. So all these things you have to get lots of information and connected. So this is what the connected type of information. And for that, the infrastructure, geospatial infrastructure, and the technology and the concept is very, very important and vital to come up with the decision making at IoT as well. So we need to have accurate and reliable geospatial infrastructure, because we are heading towards from the information edge towards the connected edge, where we talk about everything is connected, where you get lots of data connected together, just like your human body. While you're making your decisions, lots of sensors working together, and you're making the decision at the end. So to end up my discussion, so I would like to link my first slide with my last slide of the presentation, because what we really need in the future is geospatial, artificial, intelligent nervous system, where you get the things artificially connected, where it has the intelligence like your body, where you have data servers, processors, visualization. Means what we need sensors, understanding, and the respond. The people need in their palm top, the general public, they need the response, they need the decision, they need the information to make the decision. They don't have time to use this data, that data, remote sensing data, download some remote sensing data and get some GPS data, do some analysis and make the decision. No. So you have to make the quick decision, like just your body. So if your finger goes to a heat surface, so you get all your nerves will start and process and the decision in a quick time. So that's how the nervous systems are working. So this is where we are planning, we're expecting if we need smart future, because spatial data, geospatial data are the base, are the fundamental backbone nervous system of the whole smart decision-making environment of the globe. So that is why I start my talk with the biology of the human biology, and that's the same model that we can put it into the geospatial intelligent system that we can expect in the near future. So all the young students who are listening to this talk, so I'm pretty sure when you're coming up with next 10-15 years, when you're at your higher studies, when you're at the decision making level, so you will talk about all these different things, and your processing and your things are very in a fingertip and very fast, and it's kind of like nervous system. So the technology is there, so the technology is moving fast. Only thing is we need to understand it, we need to implement it, and we need to
Excuse me, sir. You're muted.
Am I all right now?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, sorry. So I don't know where I stopped. Maybe this slide, did you hear this? Were you
At the
there?
beginning?
All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what I was talking while I'm muted was like, so if you're thinking the geospatial infrastructure is the backbone of all this smart development in the future, so definitely we need to have lots of changes in the policies, standards, not only globally, at the national level as well. So for that, we still need the geospatial information to be treated as a kind of like a commodity where it's open and free. And some countries, they're coming up with the open data standards where you can come up with for certain analysis. And also the many mindset should change, because this infrastructure should be global type one, because when you're analyzing certain things, maybe you can go for a smaller region, but you have to think about the global impact as well, how these systems are impacted with the global changes as well. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk. Thank you so much, and I'm very glad, I'm very happy, and I'm very thankful for all the organizers of this workshop, and also inviting me for this wonderful event, and to share my thoughts with all this wonderful new generation geospatial scientists. So I wish you all in the future to come up with all this technology and come up with brilliant ideas, and come up with new initiations with in the science. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your precious knowledge. Now it is time to Dr. G.S.N. Pereira, the Faculty Coordinator of ICSUSL 2021, Faculty of Geomatics, to brief the event.
And,
okay.
Still, my voice is clear, so I can go ahead. I think Jason already started to talk the structure, but as a formality, I think I should say briefly the things. In fact, this is the first workshop from the series that we will organize together with the Supermap. As Mr. Raj said, actually the Supermap Software Corporation Limited is one of the leading innovative GIS platform and service providers in the world. And we can find many innovative features that we cannot find from many other platforms. So that as the nation leader in the teaching, research, and to connect with the Supermap, so we are happy to that. Actually, the main objective of the workshop is to improve students' level of GIS knowledge by giving real hands-on experience through the new platform that's called Supermap to execute comprehensive spatial analysis both in 2D and 3D, enabling each and every student to address current demands, future trends, global challenges more effectively and efficiently. Any registered students can thus take part in the workshop. The workshop covers both basic and advanced concepts in essential components of spatial analysis. Therefore, you are able to practice with raster and vector analysis from the beginning, including mapping, as well as more advanced concepts such as network analysis, 3D scene analysis, and many more. The prior knowledge about the GIS and experience of handling any kind of GIS platform could be helpful to smoothly follow the sessions. We are very happy to inform you that you people are very lucky because the Supermap's technical team will be your resource persons, and you will not get such chances from many other third-party workshops. Talking about the hands-on sessions, the total duration of the course is 6 hours, which will be split into 4 days containing 1.5 hour sessions. At the end of each day, all participants are asked to submit their work done things as an assignment through the virtual classrooms in either Google or University virtual learning environment. Indeed, the participation certificates will be issued based on the attendance and the submission of assignments that you are working on. At the end of the workshop, you are given a chance to take part into 2 GIS competitions. You could use your own data or workshop data for the contests. Actually, this is a platform for you to test your performance and also to win a prize as well. For the beginners, we recommend to take part with the Sri Lankan contest. This competition actually consists of 2 categories, namely mapping and spatial analysis. In addition to that, those who have sound knowledge about GIS, we advise them to take part with the Supermap International Contest, where you have a chance to win cash prizes. They are also welcome. You are also welcome to submit your results to the local contest because you can win merit certificates and gifts. For the competitions, you are free to choose any topic that you are interested in, but you are allowed to use only the Supermap platforms for your analysis. 5th September and the 15th August are the 2 deadlines that we define for the Sri Lankan and international contests respectively. Actually, we provide you a Learn Zoom link, which is free to everybody, and it is dedicated for sharing the hands-ons easily. Further to that, we also provide communication modes to the Skypes and virtual classrooms through the Google and University virtual learning environment. They are allocated for question and answering and also for result submissions. Actually, we are planning to continue this event as an annual event of the faculty. And actually, the Supermap already agreed to provide this facility in this regard. And many thanks go to the Supermap for this. I believe that all of you will get the maximum benefit out of the workshop. And this will assist you to improve your knowledge and skills in GIS. For sure, this will be a useful opportunity for your future career as well. And thank you for registering with the event. And last but not least, on behalf of the organizers, I would like to wish good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now it's time to hand over the session to Supermap Software Corporation Limited, China, to continue the workshop here onwards. Thank you.